Colbyjack.net is proud to present From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. The people of the fire, the Blesa, led by their queens, have ruled the island of Alfeyju and oppressed the Driva, the people of the ice, for more than 16 generations. With the Drivian King in hiding and little hope on the horizon, the Driva looked to one person to save them from the vile Blesa, the Diviana. According to legend, the divinely gifted Diviana will one day overthrow the Blesa and restore the Drivian King to his rightful throne. But with the search having lasted for more than 400 years, will the Diviana ever come to light? Willow is the slave of the Raskpil family. Bought at the age of 4, 20 years have passed since her life irrevocably changed. Her existence is no worse than any other slave, but within, Willow wonders if there isn't something more she should be doing with her life other than serving the ungrateful. Ordered to travel with her master's family to Sondertoft, so her master's adult children can take part in an ancient rite of passage, Willow is shocked when she learns that she too must participate. Will she fail, as all before her have? Will she rise to the challenge and become stronger after passing through the flames? Episode 64. Willow took a deep breath as the water began to lick the hem of her dress. The barrel she was on began to slide down the deck, along with everything else on board not tied down. "Now be gone from this place forever and a day, and never enter my line of vision again, or else the wrath of the gods and everything under the heavens will fall upon your head for eternity." The continuously rolling thunder suddenly stopped. The sea monster gave a shriek, a sound louder and shriller than anything it had previously produced before it dived into the water and disappeared from Willow's sight. But she had no time to celebrate, for the monster's dive produced huge waves. The waves washed, engulfed Willow and the ship, which sank beneath the waves. Willow pushed her body up, trying to get away from the sinking ship. She didn't want it to capture her in its watery grave. She almost made it to the top of the waterline when her foot became caught on something. Her body jerked downward, away from her destination and the air she was in desperate need of. Looking down, Willow saw a rope wrapped around her leg, dragging her down with the ship. With the desperate fingers of one hand, the other hand had a death grip on Val. Willow tried pushing the rope off her foot. Seconds passed with no success. Willow was running out of air. She needed to get her foot released and get to the surface. Letting Val go, she attacked the rope with both hands, freeing herself quickly. She frantically looked for Val, but couldn't find him as her body bobbed to the surface. "Val!" Willow called, choking in water as she yelled. Coughing, she couldn't hear any response. The waves were so loud and rough, Willow could barely hear her own voice. Thinking harder than she'd ever thought before, Willow thought, "Val, where are you?" Val didn't respond. Diving back under the water countless times, Willow tried to find him, but the water was black, and the ship debris was everywhere. It was impossible to see 2 inches in front of her. There was no way she could find her staff. She searched until her body began to give out from exhaustion. She couldn't go back under without risking her own safety. Heartbroken, she turned her attention to getting to shore. The rain made it difficult for her to see the shore, but the lightning gave her flashes of trees, giving her direction to swim towards. So with a mournful heart, she left her sunken ship and staff and started the difficult task of swimming to shore. The waves decreased in size and intensity the closer she got to shore, making it easier for Willow to swim. She just reached shore, barely making it out of the water and falling down in exhaustion when she heard her name being called. Willow didn't answer. She didn't have any energy left. She stayed where she was, laying on her back, panting. She heard someone yell, "She's here!" and heard people running toward her, their steps getting louder as they got closer to her. Someone then fell to their knees next to her and grabbed her shoulders, shaking her body. "Willow, wake up!" "I'm awake," she muttered, her eyes still closed. Sigurd. It was Sigurd next to her. "What's wrong with her?" Kalina's voice asked. "She's exhausted," Hawk answered. "Did you see the size of that thing?" "We've got to get her to the fire," Sigurd said, picking Willow up. "Don't worry, honey. I'll take good care of you." "Wait," Kalina ordered. "Where's her staff?" "Val? Willow, where's Val?" Hawk asked. She could feel his eyes on her, and the weight of them bore her down in Sigurd's arms. Forcing her eyes open, she looked at him and croaked, "The sea!" "Val's in the sea?" Sigurd asked, looking at the sea before turning his attention back to the woman in his arms. "We'll talk about this later, once you're warmer." Willow closed her eyes, trying to hold back the tears which were welling up in her eyes. Crying wasn't going to bring Val back. Nothing could bring Val back. Sigurd brought her out of the rain and sat her down by the fire, which was protected by a canopy of trees. Willow opened her eyes and put her hands out toward the warmth of the fire. Only Adelina sat by the fire. "Where's the others?" Willow asked, her voice raspy. "They're out looking for you. Hawk went to get them," Kalina answered, sitting next to her. Sigurd sat behind her, wrapping his arms around her as if he was never going to let her go again. "Where's Val?" Adelina asked from her place across from Willow. "At the bottom of the sea." "What? What do you mean he's at the bottom of the sea?" "I'll explain later." "No, you'll explain now," she growled. Willow didn't answer. She shivered as the heat began to penetrate the cold clamminess of her skin. Hawk and the others came back into the camp quietly, arranging themselves around the fire. Each person tried to absorb the heat it provided and eliminate the chill from the pelting rain and the cold sea. "Honey, what happened to Val?" Sigurd asked. His voice sounded loud in their little haven from the rain. "After the ship went down, I had to let him go. My foot was tangled in some rope, and I needed both hands to get free. I only let him go for a second or two, but he disappeared," Willow said, her voice breaking. "I called his name, but he didn't answer me." "Did you call for him?" Hawk asked, sounding concerned. "Of course I did," Willow said. "I just told you I did." "No, I mean, did you really call for him? Summon him, as you did in that jail. Remember? We were in that room with that lord, and Sigurd was getting beat up, and Val was on the other side of the room from you. You called his name, and he flew to you," Sigurd finished. "Well, he didn't fly to me this time," Willow said, silent tears coursing down her face. "Did you do it right?" Kalina asked. Everyone stared at her as if she'd lost her mind. Her cheeks turned red with embarrassment, and she said, "Forgive me for asking, but I've noticed that when you do things, magic, it's all in the inflection of your voice. If you only call his name, it might not have been enough to have him come to you, but if you ordered him, it might work." "She's right," Sigurd said before Willow could say anything. "That time in the jail, you ordered him to your side. Your voice had an odd inflection, something I haven't heard from you before. It was more commanding, more forceful than it usually is." "Order him to your side," Hawk urged. "It can't hurt to try." Willow's heart lifted at the hope shining on her friends' faces. "You're right. It can't hurt to try." She scrambled to her feet and ran out into the rain, toward the spot the foul roof had sunk. Drawing upon every ounce of concentration, energy, and magic left within her body, Willow called out in her most commanding voice, "Valdez!" Nothing happened. "I'll give it a minute or two to work." As Willow was beginning to give up hope that this would work, something emerged from the water and flew towards the group. As the object got closer, Willow saw that it was Valdez. He rocketed toward Willow and flew directly to her outstretched hand. "Took you long enough," Val said. "I was so worried that I'd lost you," Willow said. "It'd take more than a sea monster, a sinking ship, and rough waters to keep me away from you." "Come back to the fire," Sigurd ordered, wrapping an arm around Willow. When everyone was by the fire again and eating some food Asrin had managed to salvage, Kalina asked, "How did you make the sea monster go away? I thought it would kill us and you." "I banished the monster," Willow said, feeling more content as every second passed. It might have been having Val back at her side, or could also have been the honey wine which somehow survived unscathed, and was now being passed around the group. Either way, Willow was as happy as anyone could be with their ship destroyed. "You banished 100-foot sea monster?" "Right," Kalina said, not believing her. "How else can you explain that the beast is gone?" Hawk asked. "I've seen her do some remarkable things. I wouldn't put anything past her." "I'm sorry for sounding skeptical, but how did you banish it?" Kalina asked, not sounding very sorry to Willow. "There's a spell for banishing sea monsters, and I used that," she responded. "A spell? Where did you learn a spell for sea monsters?" Lofin asked, sounding very interested. "You see, there was this book, and it had in it all kinds of information, including spells and folklore and, well, you name it. It was in there." "And amongst the things you learned, there was a spell to banish sea monsters," Kalina finished. "Yes, there was." "Never thought they were real," That's all said, his voice low. "Heard tales of people seeing sea monsters and barely getting away. But I never believed them. It's just something people say when they're telling tales, right? Now I'll never question them again." "Me neither," Asrin muttered as Lofin nodded her head. "None of us will ever question the old tales again," Kalina said. "But this event makes me wonder how many of the other old tales and legends are true." Sigurd, who'd been staring into the fire, said, "More than we probably realize." You have been listening to From the Flames by Trisha M. Wilson. Read, recorded, mastered, encoded, and produced by Colbyjack.net. This work is released under a Creative Commons 3.0 Attribution, Non-Commercial, Share-alike license. Do what you want with it, just don't try to profit from it. Heaven knows we can't. If you have any questions, comments, or rants you wish to share with us, we can be reached at Colbyjack.net. That's COLBYTRAX @COLBYJACK.net. Yep, I sing it too. If you want to follow the exploits of Trisha in Twitterland, just search for Lady Trisha W on Twitter, or follow the ever-dashing, courageous, hardworking, intelligent, and immensely humble Colbyjack on the Twitters as well. If you find that you can't, just wait to find out what will happen with Willow, the strong dude and the annoying dude. Be heartened to know that From the Flames is available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Smashwords, as well as from our little shop. Didn't you know about our little shop? Why, yes, we have a little shop located at shop. That's shop.colbyjack.net. That's shop.colbyjack.net. Yeah, real original there. There you will find the latest ebook versions of all our works in both Mobi and ebook, all DRM-free, as well as audiobook versions of such works as Firmware Hijacked and Proxy, as well, naturally, as well as From the Flames. The audiobooks differ from the podcasts in that the headers and bumpers only run once, and the episodes are grouped in hour-long episodes for easy burning to CD or for downloading on the go. If you find you don't need any stuff, but just want to thank us monetarily for our efforts here, just head on over to Colbyjack.net, select either audio or visual, and look for the donate button located on the blog roll. Well, anyway, thank you for listening, have a wonderful week, and remember to be fabulous.